we are going to have a panel next, but I kind of want to talk a little bit about it before we get started. It's all around partnerships. So one thing we've learned over the years at Bushel is we can't do this alone. There's many other players in the space. There's many other software providers. You all use different technology and tools. And for our tool to work the best for you, we have to integrate. We have to make sure we're partnering with other vendors so that we're bringing the best value to you. And so we've made a conscious decision over the years. We've got ERP partners we partner with, that we integrate with. CQG is our Bushel trade partner. They've been with us for 6 or 7 years now. And we've just got a laundry list of different vendors we partner with. I want to highlight the 3 that are going to be on the panel today as they're brand new partnerships we've been working on over the last year. So we're going to have a panel discussion about how we're working together and what it means for you as customers and for the farmers and so on and so forth. So I'll invite my panelists up now. Go ahead and clap. All right. Let's just start with introductions and tell us about your company and what you do, what type of customers you serve, and what you do for your customers. Sure. Stephen, you can start.
Yeah, my name is Stephen Valenscin. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Growers, and we build loyalty program technology for ag retailers, cooperatives, distributors, and manufacturers. And we're primarily focused on those organizations that are trying to grow their sales and revenue through doubling down with their existing customer relationships and ultimately making them more loyal. And we do that with a solution that we embed inside other technologies like Bushel.
Awesome. Michelle?
Perfect. I'm Michelle McCallick. I am the Vice President of Customer Experience. It says Executive Resource Analyst. This is like a 30-day thing, so it's not necessarily wrong.
Okay.
But AgTexas is a cooperative. We loan money and offer crop insurance for farmers, ranchers, rural homeowners. We service 43 counties across Texas, and we have 10 different offices.
Awesome.
I'm Mitch Polzin. I am a risk management consultant for StoneX Financial. A little bit about StoneX for those that don't know. We are an FCM. We're a commodity clearinghouse. We're a worldwide clearer. So we focus on trading, commodity markets, clearing, and market intelligence and data. So the customers that our group kind of focuses on up here in the Midwest would be the commercial grain elevator, the commercial handler, or exporter out of the Dakotas, Minnesota, and beyond. So,
great, thanks, Mitch. All right, so each of your companies kind of specializes in a different aspect of Bushel and what we're trying to do. So I'd like to have you kind of talk about how does our integration help you solve a specific missing piece for your core users and customers. You can start, Stephen.
Yeah, so the approach that we've taken at Bushel is to really try to be about an inch wide and 10 miles deep, and we wanted to be the experts in the agriculture industry to really help this industry kind of rethink and reimagine what customer loyalty really is and how do you use that to drive sales and revenue forward. But we recognize that that's only one of the tools that's inside the toolbox that retail needs to create a better, more differentiated customer experience. And as a part, instead of trying to develop all of the tools internally at Growers, we chose to take the partnership route and work with organizations like Bushel that provide much more depth and breadth to the scope of services that we think retail and cooperatives need to run their business. And it allows us to be just hyper-focused on one thing, do one thing really well, and partner with companies that do other things very well as well.
Michelle.
So we partnered with Bushel to help us with our cash management. So we have a fantastic online cash management tool. It is designed to take payments, move money, show your statements, do everything it needs to do. And it does everything that it's designed to do perfectly. What it does lack a little bit is the opportunity when we have our customers want something specific. So when we want to move money in a certain direction, sometimes we have to find a workaround. And so it takes multiple steps, manual processes. And with Bushel, we have been able to, I say it's a super easy process because now they just click a button and it's done. I'm sure it takes months and months of work. But now it is an opportunity for our borrowers to be able to find options and how to do that.
Great. Mitch?
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of go a lot off of what Stephen said a little bit. So kind of backing up a bit, 10 years ago when grain trading was facilitated by the farmer, we would touch that trade about 3 or 4 times before it actually maybe was a signed contract or grain was delivered. And so in recent years, we've developed different trading platforms that work with ERP systems, and now partnering with Bushel, we're able to take the app that they have created that is well used around the ag industry and tie it into our trading platforms that the farmer can go from trading the grain on his own all the way to the contract being written in the ERP system and sending it back to the farmer on the app. So it really helps round out what we were missing at our company. So.
Thanks, Mitch. So more broadly around partnerships, I'm a firm believer that no single platform can do everything. And so from each of your perspectives, let's talk about why are partnerships important and kind of what do they mean to you? Mitch, I'm going to go to you first.
Yeah, I think the best way to go about it is say ease of use, right? Like, we don't want to be the best at everything, like it's the old saying, like a jack of all trades, master of none. So we want to be good at trading. We want to be good at clearing trades and market information and data. We don't want to be an app company, an ERP company, but we want to partner with really strong companies to just provide the best customer relationship and experience that we can come together and make everything flow easily and build a strong relationship going forward. So,
Michelle?
So with partnerships, I think it's important because we now have opened this door to collaboration. And so we listen to our farmers, our ranchers, when they are asking for something. We will find a way to make it work. But is that the best way to make it work? We want something that's efficient, it's evolving, it's intuitive. And I think with this partnership with Bushel, it's an opportunity to, instead of say, we'll get to that one day, now we can just open the door, collaborate. How is this possible? And we're starting at yes and not looking at an impossible feat.
Nice.
Yeah, we're big believers in this whole partnership for the cause movement because I think this is an industry that on the surface talks a lot about partnership and collaboration, and then under the surface actually doesn't do it that well. And there's a lot of reasons for that we probably don't have time to get into today, but I'm really proud and also impressed of the approach that Bushel's taken towards trying to leverage the ecosystem and the connections and the customers that they've built and not get sucked into this trap of like built here mentality, which is so prevalent in agriculture and I think really prevalent in technology in agriculture because I think we're all inclined to believe that the industry is so small that there's not enough opportunity for everybody, so we just got to do it all ourselves. And what that ultimately, I think, actually creates is a pretty terrible customer experience because nobody actually gets to be excellent at all of those things. And so when you take this partnership approach, you can be excellent at a lot of things by selecting the right partners who have the right suite of services or products or skill sets that ultimately I think will deliver the best-in-class customer experience, and that's why we're super proud and very grateful for what Bushel's doing and what the approach that they've taken in trying to solve these problems for their customers. And it's not a commonly held belief.
Yeah. I'll add to that too. From our perspective, we work with over 250 agribusinesses across the U.S. and Canada, and believe it or not, you all do everything a little bit different. And you're using different tools and you're engaging in different ways with your farmers and your customers. And so in order for us to be the best at what we do and meet you where you're at, it requires us to work with folks like these guys and other partners that we have. So it really is that we can't do it all alone and we have to work with the partners we have, putting the customer at the center of it, right? Like, what does the customer need from us and how do we work with them in a way that helps them be more efficient and more effective at what they're doing. So moving to the next question, can you guys share examples of situations where you saw disjointed workflows or systems that caused a major friction or pain point within your customer base? And I'll go back to you, Stephen.
Oh, yeah, great question. I mean, there's friction and disjointed workflows absolutely everywhere, I think, inside of agriculture. And as a technology company, those are usually the things that we try to focus on. And I think in our business specifically, I think the most disjointed workflow that we've set about to solve is how do you take strategy that's developed at the executive level and then implement that strategy all the way down through the salespeople in the field and the folks that are actually engaging with your farmer customers. And what we found, right, is that a lot of salespeople didn't really have that playbook in terms of how do we take what this grand vision is on how we're either going to try to, increase our cross-segment purchasing or reduce customer churn or grow our business. And it's talked about, but then the strategy on how you execute in the ground is really, really hard to do. And one of the things that we realized, several years ago is that a lot of organizations struggle with this, and how they solved it is actually through loyalty programs. And that's exactly why we took that approach and brought that into agriculture. Is it's a way for you to reverse engineer your executive level strategy and give your sales team a roadmap to follow on how to engage with customers to get them to change the behaviors that you want. And so that was the workflow that we saw and have seen and continue to see that's still very disjointed, is taking strategy at the executive level and disseminating that down into a format that your sales team can actually execute on. And we feel that loyalty programs actually give a roadmap for a salesperson to be able to do that more easily, more efficiently, which ultimately ends up in a better experience for the customer.
Yeah. Michelle?
So we have integrated Bushel for a problem for our farmers. So like I said, we have a cash management system. It works exactly how it was designed. You have a bill, you have a way to pay it. You can pay extra principal, but it's missing that button in there of where they can pay interest. And they pay interest when their accountant tells them to pay interest at the end of the year, not necessarily when it's billed. I mean, a million different times. And we have them come in all different ways. We have people come into the office. They want to do it online. They want someone to do it for them. And so right now, if somebody wants to do that online, we have to put that money into a separate account. Then someone in the office has to pull that money, then do a transfer. Then that's got to get approved through accounting. We go through 3 people probably to make that happen. And we will do it every day. But being able to solve this problem is something that's exciting, because now it's a click of a button and I can pay interest to date of what's accrued to date, or I can project what that's getting ready to be. So I can pay ahead if I want to do that. So we are offering an option that has been asked for quite some time. And while we have looked and tried to develop that, it's just taken a little bit of time. And again, I laugh that it's just a simple click of a button, because that's how easy it's been made and presented to our customers.
Yeah. I like that simple click of the button, but removes like 3 people's worth of work. Yeah, that's crazy. Mitch?
Yeah, so I would say ours is more on the ground level, where at the co-op grain elevator, and for those that are out there, most likely understand this pretty well, that there are so many moving parts every day into the trade side of it, that we need to be able to streamline the trade from the farmer all the way back to the contract. And so a customer of ours, I wouldn't say anyone's really disjointed, because everyone does things a little bit differently in every single co-op or every single elevator. But a customer of ours recently, Dakota Midland out of Surrey, North Dakota, they came on, started trading our StoneX platform here about 1.5 years ago. They have Bushel as their management app on their farmer side, but the 2 systems didn't talk to each other. So we fixed a problem where they were able to trade and then make a contract on the ERP, but we still had a disconnect between the farmer and the trading platform. And so now the farmer has the ability, like some guy mentioned earlier, he's up in the middle of the night trading 100 bushels at a time. We can now have that happen, where those trades will come through, they'll get processed, they'll get cleared, they'll make a contract, and we'll have a single chain event. And so for those guys, they're very excited about it. We have other customers that are on the cusp of that as well. So just streamlining the processes of the trading will really free up more people at the elevator to do other necessary jobs. So.
Nice. So the next question here, the tech landscape is moving fast. We saw Mark talk about AI and how things are going to get weird after this. As we look to the next 12 to 18 months, what trends or emerging technologies do you all see, and how do you think we could tackle those together through a partnership? And I'll start with you, Stephen.
Yeah, great question. I think one, it's been fascinating to watch thus far. I think it's just going to continue to get more and more interesting. You're starting to see like AI disrupt like AI companies that 12 months ago, what AI was doing versus today is totally different, and those companies are disrupting themselves. So I think we're going to see that kind of continuous evolution or revolution of these companies and how they're using AI. I think in agriculture, one of the challenges that we're all going to have, I think, is on the education side and educating, everybody inside the agriculture supply chain on how to make more efficient use of the AI technologies that exist. I saw a chart recently, I guess it was like 2 weeks ago, but it was like the percent of the population that's been exposed to AI that is using it beyond basic chat functions is still less than 0.5%. So of everybody that's been exposed to it globally, less than 0.5% are actually using it beyond like a basic kind of enhanced search engine. And so as a technology company, we're pretty far down the path, and we're still learning a lot every single day, but we've been exposed and seen the benefits of what it can do when you really kind of deeply embed it inside your workflows. And it's not just about asking questions and drafting documents and even writing code. It's about changing entire workflows inside your organization to be a heck of a lot more efficient. And I think, just given the trend and the trajectory of how technology gets adopted across agriculture, I think we're probably going to be a little bit behind the curve. And so as companies that are serving this industry, I think one of our big challenges is going to be how do we educate them on how to make effective use of it and get that advantage and that bang for their buck inside their existing or new workflows.
Yeah, and I would add to that, with our partnership, we've got this captive audience of customers. We now have this new loyalty rewards program we can offer through growers, and hopefully we can help with that education aspect as we're rolling that out and getting customers to use it and understand the value. So, Michelle, how about you?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to have the fraud presentation earlier because it is just growing. And as much as we're trying to control that, it's the education and getting that out to people, but it is also getting rid of checks. And as weird as that is, we got rid of the penny, so, checks are right around the corner. And, all the fraud presentations just actually never thought about how it was presented today of when you hand that check over, here's my signature, here's my address, here's a routing, here's my actual account number, please take this from me. And, so it's interesting to see that side of it because things will become more digital. And so being able to protect that, being able to see that Bushel has, the protection and what they do to fight that, and just to be able to offer options. We want our farmers and ranchers to be able to access their money how they want to access their money. And, I'll be excited when the debit card can connect directly to their loan. I think that might be in less than 12 months, but, we'll be excited to see when that happens. But just being able to offer options that we don't have today.
Yep. Mitch?
Yeah, I would say, with how fast technology is changing, I would say StoneX's point, we would just want to continue to build a stronger relationship with Bushel and our partnerships. So, as them being a tech company and we have a tech side as well, to be able to bounce ideas back off of each other, to try to continue to provide the best platform and services to our customer base, because ultimately that's who we're trying to serve and focus on. So. Speaking in too far of the tech side, I'm not a tech guy, I'm more of just a trader. So, but with that being said, we just want to continue to build on a strong relationship. So.
Yeah. Michelle, this isn't on the question list, but we had a good conversation and I want you to tell people about it.
Okay.
Just so people have an understanding of how these partnerships start and how they evolve over the years, tell us the story of how AgTexas and Bushel got connected and then kind of the loop of how it got to where it is today.
Yeah, so I was brought in, our CEO reached out to me, said, hey, our, head of their board of directors, head of our board said, I need to meet this company. So I went and met this company. We need to, talk to them. But how it all started, and back up, is Aaron knows a couple people on our board. And Reggie, who's the head of our board, is very close with her and introduced Kayla at a conference. So Kayla went, talked to the Bushel table. We had a meeting with Aaron, and that was probably, I think maybe 18 months ago. Maybe 2 years ago. It was a long time ago. And we were already looking at Bushel because it was one of our farmers that was out there. And he said, I've seen this, I think you need to look at it. And so we did. We looked at it, and then we reached out to Farm Credit Bank of Texas, so our systems have to flow through them, and they had already started conversations. So we were not talking to each other knowing that we had both met this group, but both looking for a way to be able to engage with Bushel.
Yeah, and I'll share. I mean, I think in each of these scenarios, we've been talking to these groups for probably 24, 36, 48 months. Probably. Stephen was on stage, I think, 3 years ago. But the StoneX relationship is really interesting. We were going to partner with Harvest, RJO's Harvest. Well, then last summer, StoneX acquires RJO, and we just kept that relationship going because we had a good contact at RJO that we were working with. They had a good platform, and you guys have kind of merged teams over the years, and we just kept that going. So it's, you guys get to see the end result of what happens with these partnerships when we deliver it in product. But it's years and years of conversations and ideas and talking to each other about how we work together. So, next question. Is there one thing that you want the audience to remember about the value of a deeply integrated software ecosystem? What would that be? Mitch, I'm going to put it to you first.
Again, going back to like the ease of use thing. So, for the commercial grain elevators in the audience or the customers out there, it's getting harder and harder to hire people. We all know that, especially the farther out we are from major cities. So with the type of partnerships that we're creating, we're trying to take away the monotonous jobs that the grain merchandiser has or the general manager that wears 3 hats, and trying to simplify those processes a really effective and efficient way that frees up their time to do something else. And I think it's key to know that we're not trying to replace people out there. We're just trying to free up the time with the people we currently have, because hiring good people is getting harder and harder nowadays. So that'd probably be my number one takeaway, is just these partnerships are trying to build a stronger relationship with the customer and give a better customer experience overall.
So I think you took a lot of it from the customer experience and ease of use. I gave an example where we have processes that take 3 different people, and that's just one of them. There's so many that are out there that it takes too long for our member owners to pay back money, get money sometimes. And, with Bushel, it's not just a win. By integrating the software for our customers to make payments, it's not just a win for our customers, it's also a win for our employees, our internal customers, because now they're not spending the time and having to do work that is, important to get done, but we have a way to get that done. So we can get our employees back to doing what our employees need to do, and we can get our customers back to doing what they need to do, which is feed and clothe the world.
Yeah, I think the most critical aspect about why these type of partnerships are important really goes back to you guys and your businesses, because I think if you're partnered with an organization that knows how to effectively partner with other providers and technology solutions, it means that as your business continues to grow, adapt, and change, you're going to be, I think, in a much better place, not having to change and move and switch and transition to multiple different platforms over time as your business changes. But working with an organization that's good and getting even better at integrating these partnerships into their technology means that as your guys' business continues to change, Bushel's business is going to continue to adapt and enable you guys to take advantage or leverage, maybe new opportunities. And my favorite quote about partnerships is that they are hard ships to sail, and so doing it effectively, I think, is really important. And I think it's great that the Bushel team's developed a muscle for partnering to the benefit of their customers.
Yeah, let's do one more question. As the audience thinks about their tools and maybe they've got disjointed workflows, what's advice for how they would start an engagement with? Hey, I want these 2 tools to work together. Like, what do I do? Where do I even start? And maybe, Stephen, you start here.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a little cliche to say it, but it's like you have to really begin with the end in mind. I think figure out what that ideal dream state is for the customer, the mutual customer, and then work your way backwards, and then try to imagine or envision all of the crazy challenges and pitfalls that'll happen along the way. But I think with like the Bushel and Growers partnership, we identified that we have mutual customers that both organizations are aligned in trying to create more additional value for them to ultimately make their business more successful, because we profit when our customers are more successful, and as does Bushel. And so we really began with, okay, what's the environment that we're trying to create for our mutual customers? What are the challenges that they're going to have using a disjointed workflow if they continue to exist inside of our system singularly, or inside of Bushel's? And then how do we design an environment where they could do it all in one preferred user experience, which is the platform that they've already adopted? And then from there, right, worked with the customer to actually get feedback on, and I think this is the most important part, is like, what is the value that's going to be created by bringing these two things together? Partnerships are really hard to do. They're even harder to do well. And so you need to have the customer involved in that conversation so that you make sure that you're actually solving a real problem for them and creating maybe even new opportunities. And I think if you do that in the right order and with good partners, usually works out well.
I like that you talk about the customer being in the middle, because every time we look at a vendor or a potential partner, it's like, who are our mutual customers? What do we have as customers? What do you have as customers? And what is this going to do for us together? Yeah. And if there's something there, then we move it to the next step. That's and right. Then we start to talk about what should we do and how do we do it and all of that. So, Michelle, what do you have?
Yeah, I think, as things come up, one thing I wanted to mention was the network. And so we talk about how easy it is to do business with AgTexas. We are trying to make sure it's easy to do business with each other. And so, as things arise, if customers are talking to us and letting us know what it is that they want, we want to get out there. We want to network. Who is your network? How can we help you? How can we make this problem go away? Or how can we make it more efficiently? And from that, even just having the conversations, being able to come up and brainstorm other ideas that are, well, you said this, but maybe you're meaning this. And, then just getting in a room and collaborating and finding what those solutions are going to be.
Yeah, I would say that I would say for those out there that want to learn more or maybe take a change or make a change in their organization on using the partnerships that we currently have in place, or seeing if there's other partnerships available, is to, would go, if you're working with StoneX and they don't, have Bushel, see how we can bring our partner into it. There's other ways where there's a lot of places we don't work with that use Bushel that we do have our trading platforms there. We may not necessarily clear their trades, but the partnership goes a lot farther than just both of us in the same room at the same time. So there's a lot of avenues for us to continue to work with each other and support each other. It's just asking your right representative and sitting down with your actual team and seeing what your end goal wants to be. So,
yeah, I think I'll kind of leave with a pitch to the audience. If you're thinking about anything, or if there's a disjointed system in your workflow and we haven't partnered or we haven't integrated, come have a conversation with us. We're happy to talk about it. We're happy to figure out if we can do that. And maybe there's other partners out there that we can connect to and make something work. So it all starts with the ask, and then we kind of go from there. So let's give a round of applause for our panel. Thank you, guys. You can go ahead.